Hello folks, and welcome back. In this presentation we'll be going over the human body. So hopefully by the end of this presentation you'll have nothing but love, respect and admiration for these magnificent bodies and the things they do, which kind of often goes unheard, out of sight, out of mind, that we take for granted. So let's get straight into this. So, the human body is the single most amazing feat of biotechnology and engineering currently known in the universe. To comprehend the amazing complexities and appeasing aesthetics, for those in good health that is, can only lead one to appreciate this magnificent marvel. We will now dig deeper into the awesomeness of our body so we can remind ourselves of its intelligence and treat it with the love and care it deserves. The body is made up of 11 vital systems that support us in being able to have this wonderful experience we call life. These 11 systems are the integumentary system, which is basically our skin, which is the largest organ in our body, which is a cool fact. Our skeletal system, muscular system, nervous system, endocrine system, cardiovascular system, lymphatic system, respiratory system, digestive system, urinary system, and reproductive system for both male and female. As mentioned before, the body, i.e. your subconscious mind, which is the God within, facilitates around 10 billion biochemical reactions a second, replacing over 2 million blood cells in that same period, with about 100 billion neurons firing off 5 to 50 messages per second. Managing all 11 systems, processing and repair cycles, keeps the body between 7.35 and 7.45 pH, which is the acid-alkaline balance, delivers oxygen, nutrients and hormones to your cells, keeps your heart beating and you breathing during the night, and provides you with all the heat and energy you need to pursue life, just to name a few. I mean, it's quite incredible really what goes on. So to list and calculate the amount of functions that happen in your body would drive even the most advanced quantum computer to have a meltdown pretty quickly. You are looking at the single biggest thing that everyone takes for granted, the human body. So, being a slave to the senses and to live unconsciously is to live only in the conscious, carnal mind without recognizing the amazing feats of the subconscious powers that performs unconditionally and tirelessly to support your body throughout your existence. We've all been there, I've been there. I've taken this body for granted, the things I used to do, drinking, smoking, and obviously I've turned that completely around 180 degrees and got nothing but respect for my body, and because I've built a relationship with it and I'm in tune with it, so I know its needs, I know what satisfies it, I know when I need to sleep, know what I need to eat and when I need to eat. So it's a very intelligent system. So once you start bridging that contact, as it were, between your conscious and subconscious self, you're tapping into a universal intelligence which is far beyond most people's comprehension. And that's kind of where I label it as almost like God force, because it's truly incredible, really. It's remarkable. And this is something, obviously, if you follow all the action items within this program, you'll be able to unlock for yourself and build a much, much stronger relationship with your subconscious superpower, your God within. So it says here, moreover, how you treat your body is a direct reflection to how you treat Mother Earth, which is another body, albeit a lot larger than our own, but as you will see, is modelled in exact likeness. We are born of nature, and its prints are easily recognised like a fractal version, a bipedal embodiment of Earth and all of its creations. We are and always will be an exact likeness of our mother. So it's very true. And so, we can see the list here between the human body and the Mother Earth, and you can see the similarities here of both these different bodies. So it says here, the list is not exhaustive. However, it should be sufficient to prove that we are in all likeness, walking, talking, sentient replicas of Mother Nature, divided into masculine and feminine counterparts. And so you can see here, under the human body, we're made up of 75% water. If you look at the Earth, it's also made up of 75% water. We're hosts to trillions of organisms. And what's interesting is that we're made up of about 100 trillion cells, 90 trillion of which are actually bacteria, fungus, parasites, pathogens, which is basically our flora and fauna. So it's only 10 billion of us, or 10 trillion, of us, that is actually human. The rest is this giant ecosystem of pathogens, bacteria, viruses and parasites, which are basically our ancestors. We evolved from single-celled organisms. These guys are still been around. They're like our great-great-great-great-grandfather or grandmothers, basically. But they're, it's all about synergy and symbiosis, which we'll touch on later. And obviously, if you look at Mother Earth, hosts trillions of organisms, some more parasitical than others, humans. Obviously, the humans and the practices that are destroying and are unsustainable to the ecosystem. That is something, obviously, if you follow through the action items on this and come back into, you know, buying the organics and supporting all the eco-friendly, sustainable farming practices, we're going to be on her right side, basically, in her good books. Draws its sustenance, so the human body draws its sustenance from the gut. You have Mother Earth draws its sustenance from the soil. We have, you know, communicates through nerve pathways, ganglions and plexuses, which is our body. Then Mother Earth communicates through root networks. This is basically nature's and all the trees and plant kingdom. They communicate through root networks and mycelium fungal networks that span the globe. And it's quite incredible, like how even I think one corn stalk or crop of corn, its mycelium sheath and network can actually span around the whole globe. I mean, it's quite incredible, really. And that's almost like the neurons of the plant kingdom of Mother Earth herself. And so we have, you know, the human body breathes oxygen, exhales carbon dioxide. The earth with the rainforest and the trees breathes carbon dioxide and exhales oxygen. Obviously during the day, during the night, it's like us, it breathes in the oxygen, exhales carbon dioxide, because the sun isn't there, obviously, to aid in photosynthesis. We've got human body, the blood is saline, which means basically it's salty. It's got, you know, a saltiness about it in terms of it's solute in the liquid form. Then obviously on Earth, we have the oceans that are saline. So, and it's a very similar ratio, actually. Blood and the oceans have a very similar ratio of salinity, which is quite interesting. Then we have, obviously, body has meridians, which are these acupuncture points, which are basically lined up with all the nerve pathways in the body, which Chinese medicine, you know, goes into with acupuncture, which does work to help release a lot of energy blockages that you might have in your body. And then you obviously have, with Mother Earth, she has ley lines, which are otherwise her meridians, and you often find a lot of megalithic structures and sites of importance with these grand buildings actually built on these massive ley lines, which taps into the energy of the earth and natural magnetism. So we have, you know, the alpha brainwaves is 7.83 hertz, which is linked to the Schumann resonance, which is Earth's natural resonance in its biosphere. So Earth actually has its own resonance, and this is why when you go out into nature, we often feel so good. And from, you know, running water like streams and rivers and waterfalls, it creates a lot of this negative ion atmosphere, and trees and evaporating water from trees. And it's all part of this natural resonance that Mother Earth emits, which is otherwise 7.83 hertz, which is linked to alpha brainwaves, which is linked to feeling of relaxation, calmness, and, you know, focus and concentration, basically. So it's a very soothing energy, and it's no coincidence that, you know, these two are paired up. And there's been studies that they've done where they put people in artificially induced frequency ranges outside of the 7.83 Schumann resonance range, and they immediately had headaches, disassociation, they couldn't function properly. I think it was in an underground bunker, so they were able to isolate the Schumann resonance, but they had these machines in which they flicked on in order to see the difference, and it was almost immediate when they turned these machines off, so they weren't exposed to this natural resonance, that their health deteriorated rapidly, and it was more mental, and it just gave them brain fog and just made them depressed. So it's very, very interesting, that kind of link, which we'll touch on later when we get into the electromagnetic side of things. We have, obviously, body has an aura, which is our natural magnetic field. Earth has a magnetic field, which is her aura. You've got the aurora borealis, which you can see, you know, up in the north in Scandinavia, which is quite beautiful if you ever get an opportunity to go see that. But it's a similar kind of process of this toroidal electromagnetic field that kind of spans all the way around our bodies. Mother Earth is no different again. We have, obviously, heart is an anagram for earth. Earth is anagram for heart, and, you know, home is where the heart is, as they say. So if you rearrange the letters of heart, you can make earth out of it. So it's no coincidence again. And we have, obviously, reproduction through sex, which is kind of like pollination, which you have, obviously, here in the animal kingdom and also the plant kingdom. So yeah, to emphasize this point further, I would like to draw your attention to the next slide. So just as the tree, so you can see these two images here. So just as the tree draws its sustenance from the soil and carries it to the trunk and branches thereof, our bodies draw its nutrients from our gut and distributes it to the various branches of the body, which for all intents and purposes is exactly like our fellow tree, and in this respect can be seen as our soil. Human beings are nothing more than walking, talking, sentient trees, carrying around with them a soil sack i.e. our guts, from which our body draws nutrients from. Our solar plexus has more nerve roots and pathways than our spinal system and brains combined. Now that's a quite amazing fact. These are our roots that is embedded into our soil, which is otherwise our gut, facilitating all organs of digestion and assimilation. Why do you think they call the lower section of the spine the lumbar? And obviously we refer to a lumberjack, someone who cuts down trees. The spine is the trunk, the limbs are our branches, and our brains / mind, from which our thoughts, words and deeds spring forth, are our fruits. So it's quite easy to see this kind of modelling that's going on with our solar plexus feeding and drawing sustenance from our gut, which is basically just a soil sac, and how you can see this work in nature with trees, the root system in the soil, drawing nutrients from the soil in order to feed the tree so it can grow. I mean, it's no coincidence there basically, and it should be easy to see that we're made in the exact likeness, but just, same but different, as the saying goes. So you can see in the image we have a lung of a human and a tree found in nature. Both play a role in processing oxygen and carbon dioxide, the likeness of which is uncanny. Such is the nature of this very intelligent fractal universe we are part of. Now just imagine you dump toxic industrial waste into the rivers and seas, you use chemical fertilizers, herbicides, pesticides, fungicides and rodenticides in the soil, which run off into the waters. You pump copious amounts of toxic waste into the air each year, and you take more yang than you give back yin. What do you think will happen to that organism? Should be self-explanatory. Let's make this more personal. Let's say you smoke 20 cigarettes a day, you eat non-organic foods that are full of these industrial chemicals used in the soils and foods in the form of additives, you drink the dirty water and breathe in the dirty air on top of the cigarettes you smoke, and you exert yourself more yang than you rest yin. What effect do you think that would have on your soils, waters, blood, brain and body? Moreover, what effect do you think these diet and lifestyle choices have on the planet? So this exercise is just basically trying to get you to bridge the gap between our relationship between how you treat your body. It's basically going to be in direct reflection as to how the earth's being treated, which we'll probably emphasize in this next slide. So therefore, when you heal your body and come back into balance through making the right diet and lifestyle choices, you can only help heal the planet to the degree that you're not supporting the businesses and practices that are treating this organism like an unconscious breeding ground for profit and carnal desires. Because good health can only be achieved when eating the organic whole foods which come with sustainable farming practices that protects the soils and Mother Earth's delicate ecosystems. We should never bite the hand that feeds us. And just like any healthy relationship, we should always honour and revere our mother, that which gives us life and nurtures us during our time here. That's Mother Earth in this instance. And also, your immediate mother too. You can think of your heavenly mother to be the spirit of the earth, which is the yin aspect, and our heavenly father, which is the yang aspect, as being the sun. The other planets can be seen as extended relatives, and they too play their role in this cosmic orchestra of cymatics and sonic geometry, which interacts and dances with one another in an intelligent symphony, bringing forth the energetic blueprints of creation they foster. So you can think of our grandmother being the galaxy and our great-great-grandmother being the universe. What's interesting is that our brain cells, you can see in the image here, look identical to photographs of the geometry of the stars in our universe. Moreover, we even have star-shaped glial cells in the brain and spinal cord known as astrocytes, and you can see that in the image above there. So isn't it wonderful? You can actually see the correlations here. They say man and woman is the measure of the universe. I think it's very true. It's obviously easy to see. We can also see signs of intelligent design in nature expressed as the golden ratio, phi, also known as the Fibonacci sequence. We are born of nature, which is why this geometry is easily seen throughout our entire bodies. And so you can see, this is easily seen. So you got the golden ratio is 1.618. And so what it basically pertains is that everything grows in this ratio exponentially. And so if you grab your knuckle on your finger, if this is 1, then to the next notch on the knuckle will be 1.618. And so if that is 1, the whole finger would then be 1.618. So if that is 1, your whole finger, then going to your palm down to your wrist will be 1.618. So be that times 1.618 if you get the picture. And this applies to all the proportions in pretty much all of our bodies, which can obviously be found in the ear, it can be found in our fists, it can be found in, basically the whole measure of man, which is, basically what's depicted in the Vitruvian Man symbol. If we go back to the beginning, right here with Leonardo da Vinci, he knew the golden ratio of phi, which is what this symbol actually represents and expresses. And this is found obviously throughout the whole cosmos, which obviously on a galactic scale you can see in the formations of galaxies, the way the brain's shaped. You can see it in nature with all these wonderful animals, how their horns grow, even in flower buds and petals. It's quite incredible, really. It's amazing. So yeah, to be conscious is to be self-aware of what you are and the consequences your actions have on your internal and external environment. Man and womb man is the measure of the universe. Just as every snowflake that falls is unique, we too are physiologically and psychologically unique. Like a fingerprint, what matters most is the footprints you leave on this earth during your time here. Are you living in harmony with yourself, the earth and the universe? That's a question you've got to ask yourself at the moment. Or are you contributing toward the imbalance, disharmony, and disease of not only your organism, but of the whole earth, galaxy and cosmos? Remember, 90% of all diseases are a direct result of bad diet and lifestyle choices. It's up to you to take responsibility for yourself and choose wisely. Otherwise, Mother Nature's cops will come and return you back to the soil, so you can be repurposed into something more harmonious and life-affirming. And so it says here, Mother Nature is both wise and purposeful. She'll know whether you are living up to her standards or not. More importantly, you will know it too, as you'll be feeling tired, fatigued, probably have disease or illness, get sick all the time, etc., etc. So like any instrument that's out of tune, when you become aware of any disharmonious behaviours or actions in your life, you can take the necessary steps to correct them. By recognising that you are not separate to nature, you are one and the same, this should give a lot more meaning and purpose behind supporting a healthy way of life. Not only will it bring you joy, but it will bring joy to those loved ones around you and the people who need it the most, those who are sick, not to mention our sacred planet. So it is paramount before starting this program to know that you are so incredibly special and intelligent and have all the forces of the mineral, plant and animal kingdoms, including your ancestors, woven into the very fabric of your DNA, peppered with stardust whose consciousness originates from the stars. Your body is the temple of God. It is a gift and a fine instrument, and you should start treating it as such. Just know that no matter your goals or health challenges, you are special, you are worth healing, and you are worthy of the goals and dreams you seek. That's so very important. When your mind, body, spirit complex is working in perfect harmony, you will find life to be very easy and enjoyable. We will now start identifying any diet and lifestyle challenges you may have in the next section so we can better assess your current situation and devise a perfect plan to get you singing in harmony with the rest of the universe. Okay, so yeah, hopefully this has really made you appreciate, all the wonderful processes that happen not only within our bodies, but how intricately linked we are with Mother Nature, and the foods we put into our bodies and the kind of business practices we support, which going through this program, it will be re-emphasized and drilled in so we can kind of raise our consciousness to a level where we become more symbiotic organisms to Mother Nature, and as a result of that we will be rewarded because we will experience good health and vitality and energy. And I can speak firsthand from this, going through and making all these changes myself in my life, and it's been a blessing, and I'm in harmony. I feel the symbiosis, I feel the connection not only with myself but with the rest of the world, and it's a very, very liberating and joyful experience to have. And this is what I want you guys to achieve and to really jump on board in terms of creating that lifestyle and developing the habits that will lead you to that bliss as well that I'm experiencing. So yeah, thank you for watching. In the next video we'll quickly go through the diet and lifestyle questionnaires so we can address where there may be any problems for you, and so then we can obviously direct you from there based on what you need to address first and what you need to do in order to get yourself back into baseline health, basically. All right guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.